Hello there and welcome to my video showing you how to paint the north face of the Eiger. I'm dedicating this film to my husband Phil Hargreaves, who really wanted to climb the north face of the Eiger. He has tried this several times, mainly due to weather, last year because he broke his back and this year because of the pandemic. He's desperate to climb it, so I'm hoping that he'll still be able to climb it one day. I'm also dedicating it to my dad, who showed me a film of an artist painting a mountain, and I thought I'll show you how I do mine. So this is for you, Dad. And also for the members of the Minnoth Climbing Club, for which I'm a member, to distract you from the frustrations of not being able to climb a mountain. I hope that you enjoy the demo. I'm going to be using white heavy body paint, acrylic paint, burnt sienna, cerulean blue and Prussian blue. Just those four colours. I'm going to be using a flat brush. This is an SAA number 10 flash flat brush and a credit card. So all the white bits on the painting are going to be done with a credit card. So I've cut this credit card up into various shapes and sizes, and I find this a really useful way of adding the snow to the paintings, and it's quite fun to do something different. This is the actual painting when it's finished, but I have to obviously prepare different sections of this, and it needs to be dry, so I'm doing it in stages. I'll put this here. I can see what I'm doing. This paper here has been prepared with gesso. It's watercolour paper, practice paper from the SAA. I'm just going to start by painting the sky. I'm going to be using the cerulean blue first of all. I'm just going to paint it nice and thick across the paper like this. Plenty of paint. Move that out of the way, and some Prussian blue in here, so I'm blending the colours together. And because I have put gesso on, which is a primer for acrylic paint, it means that the paint goes on really nicely. But I love watercolour paper because it has a really nice texture to it, and I think it's perfect for painting mountains. So you can see how that's blended really nicely, going from dark to light. A little bit more of the cerulean blue on there. And then as I get further down, I'm going to add a little bit of white to the sky. And this time I'm going to use the brush like this, almost quite roughly, to get the idea of a little bit of white cloud maybe towards the bottom. But I don't want it to be too light because I want the white of the mountain to really show up against the background. So just doing this, blending it into that colour of the blue. A little bit more white, make it a little bit lighter. And I need to make sure that I'm going far enough down so that the mountain, the edge of the mountain here, hopefully you can see this bit, I need to be able to fit that on so that the sky will go right down here, a little bit further than the actual mountain itself. A little bit of blue there. Okay, and now I'm going to paint the actual shape of the mountain. Now, mountaineers know that it's very, very important to get the right shape of the mountain. So I'm going to do this with burnt sienna and Prussian blue mixed together. When I mix these two colours together, I get almost black. More of the burnt sienna will give me a browner look, and more of the blue will give me more of a black or grey colour. Plenty of the colour on the paint brush, and just sit for this. And I'm going to paint the shape of the north face of the Eiger, so it goes out a little bit. I have studied this mountain quite a lot. It's very important when painting mountains for people who know the mountains, like climbers, to get it right. It's really important to get the shape right. Going up a little bit here. But of course this is quite a free painting, and so it's getting a balance of having a free-ish painting by using a credit card. It can't be absolutely perfect, but getting the main bits right. So I'm just putting this black on here. I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna, and then it'll be a bit browner in some places. A bit more of the Prussian blue will make it bluer in places, and of course the two together will mix nicely on the paper. I'm a big fan of the colours mixing on a paper like this because it makes it more interesting rather than just having a plain black. You might often hear that artists say, oh no, don't use black. Obviously there are places where you can use it, but this makes it more interesting. Different tones, different colours, and so on. So I'd fill all of this with this dark colour, and then I need to let it dry. So it's a little bit like Blue Peter here. I'm going to take this away. There's one I've done earlier. A lot of preparation for these videos that people don't always realise they're doing. So I've now got the sky and I've got the main shape of the mountain. This is the hard work now, is adding the snow. It's really important to get these in the right places. As I said before, climbers know their mountains. They know every little bit. They know the buttresses, they know all the indentations, the coals, they know where the shadows go. So it's really important to get those in the right place. But it's a balance too, because I want to have a fairly free painting. So I'm going to be using a credit card that's all been cut up into these different shapes. I'm going to start with the top, just from a practical point of view. Plenty of paint on it so I can get a nice thick bit. And some of the snow on the mountain is at the top here. And there's more on the right hand side of the mountain because there's more snow on that side. So I'm just putting that down there. I'm going to get the larger card now, get a bit more of this paint on there. And I'm just going to scrape that down. There's quite a lot of thicker snow on that area. There's a little bit of rocks showing at the top here, so I need to leave some of that black behind. I'll go back to that later. Now what's really nice about the credit card is if you have some thick paint there, it will be thick, but then as you go down it kind of loses some of it. It has this really lovely effect like that. I find that really fascinating. But equally I need to get the snow on the right edge of this ridge here that goes down the north face of the Eiger. So it comes in a bit here and then it goes back out. There's a little bit sticking out there. It comes down and there's another ridge bit there and it comes right in. There's a bit of a cliff here and then it comes out again and so on. I'm going to bring it down like that. And up here, so there's a little bit of rock showing down here that I need to have on. And then there's a bit of a gully here, so I need to have this bit coming down like this. It comes down at an angle and it also shows the steepness of the mountain. Now here I need to get my smaller credit card, so I've got this bit on the end here. I'm going to use that. That's a better size for this bit. Because it's a little bit thinner. So I'm going to bring the snow down here and I'm going to use this method of losing some of the white off credit card by flattening it out. Then there's a bit of a shelf and there's a little bit more snow here that collects on the top of this buttress, and then it comes down here. Now here we have these kind of lines coming down, so I'm going to swap over again. It's messy business, you get white paint all over you doing this. So I'm now going to print with the credit card to get the lines coming down like that. It's really where there's a rivulets of rock where the water has basically weathered it away. And then there's more snow on this side, so just going to scrape that down here. There's quite a lot of snow on this bit. And then there's some rock showing on the left hand side, so I'll just leave that and a bit more of the snow here. And this is quite heavy, so swap over to the wider credit card and put some thicker snow on here. So it's really nice for texture. You can really get a nice lot of snow coming down here using the card. Again, there's some lines coming across here of rock, so I'm just going to use the printed version of the card, and then more snow coming down here. Now the middle bit here is all in shadow, but I still need the white snow. I'm going to add the shadow later with blue ink, but I need the actual snow on there, so I'm just ignoring the shadow at the moment, so I'm going to put that on later. I'm just putting this area of snow on here where it's collected in the coal on the side of the mountain, and again making sure that it's where it should be. I'm going to use this thinner bit to just put these other bits of snow up here at the top, and I can even use the corner of the credit card to just get the little bits of snow, like little dots of snow that you get collecting around here. North face of the Eiger is renowned to be really quite dangerous because of the fact that it is the north face, and all the ice and snow starts melting and you get rockfall happening. So it's quite renowned with climbers, but it's a big tick, and I feel so sorry for my husband who has tried to climb this so many times. Very frustrating that he couldn't do it this year yet again. I'm sure you will do it one day, Phil. And I don't know if there's anybody else in the Minith there that's climbed this mountain. Hopefully I'm doing it justice by putting all this snow in the right places, painting it in a fairly free way, but at the same time getting all the details on that you need to get in a painting like this. So Phil is probably my biggest critic, and he will tell me if this isn't quite right. So I'm just getting that snow field coming down here. Now I need to let this dry completely. Obviously this needs a little bit more work doing to it, but I just wanted to show you the basics of how I would do this, adding the snow. Again, I would use the corner to just get the little details of tiny bits like this, so I can get quite a lot of detail in just by using the credit card. But also, in certain places I might have missed rocks, or or put too much of the snow on. It's just become part of it because of using the credit card. So I'm going to use some burnt sienna and Prussian blue, mix it there, and I can get this back. So I could get a few more rocks in here by actually going over the white. And there's a little bit of a rock here sticking out that's quite important I need to put on, because that's kind of disappeared behind the snow. I need to just put that on. And some of these rocks are a little bit lighter. I can put those on like this. Obviously the white is still a little bit wet there, so it's mixing in. So ideally I would wait until it's completely dry before doing that. So as I said before, I've done multiple paintings here for you for the demonstration. So if I take this off, I'm left with the white paint that I've already put on there, and perhaps a bit more carefully spent a little bit more time on that. So the other medium I'm using is acrylic ink. This is Prussian blue acrylic ink. I'm just going to put this in my palette here. And I'm going to use I'm going to use this round brush. This is an SAA round brush, number 6, to just add the shadow. This is really important, to add the shadow on top. Now I'm using ink because it's a wet medium, and so the white of the snow will show through. Again, it's really important to get this shadow in the right place, and it starts down this gully. I need my paper towel handy because it's a little bit strong. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that. It comes down here. So you can see hopefully that the white of the snow is actually showing up. It comes down really quite strong shadow. It's got definite shapes in here. Coming around like that. I just completely cover all of this because all of that is actually in shadow. And this bit here, there's a little bit of white showing on there. And this comes down here. So you can see that the white snow that I painted before is now covered with the ink, but it's showing through. So the texture of the snow is showing through too, which is rather nice. I'm now going to add this shadow down here on the side of the mountain. And it gives it a little bit of a 3D form by adding this. I'm going to add a little bit of water to that, make it a little bit lighter. And there are really rivulets of shadow down here, making that stand out. And a little bit of on the snowfield, you know, just down here where the steepness of the snow, it kind of, the shadows come down here, and it just adds a little bit of detail to that too. So I'm just adding some water to let that bleed out a little bit. And because it's acrylic ink, it'll work well with the acrylic paint because it dries completely permanently. It works quite well on there. And a little bit on this snowfield as well, a little bit of a shadow on that down here. And there we have it, the north face of the Eiger, painted with acrylic paint and acrylic ink. I hope you've enjoyed the demonstration, and thanks for watching.